I didn't hear it. Okay, great. Welcome to our Tuesday monthly learning session. My name is Annie Lindy Kugel, and I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Executive Director for the Community Services Network. I'm so excited to have you all here today and to introduce our new staff person, Joanna Para. Joanna, would you like to give a wave, say hello?
Hi, good morning, everybody. Very excited to be here today and join in on the monthly learning session. If there's anything or any questions you have, please feel free to put them in the chat. I'll be over here following along and learning from everyone, which is the most amazing thing. So I do thank everybody for your time and for being here and participating in this. And I look forward to future monthly learning sessions with everybody as well.
Awesome. And Joanna is our new Washington County outreach lead. So as most of you know, we are expanding into Washington County. So we're super excited to have Joanna join us. And she has a wealth of connections in Washington County. And so we've hit the ground running with that one. So very excited, more to come. Just a reminder for everyone before we get started today, that these sessions are housed on our CSN YouTube channel, the recordings. And then at the end of the session, I'll show you, but you can view all of our, actually, I'm just gonna pop the link in the chat real quick. You can always view our sessions on our website, both upcoming, and we will be posting our past sessions. All of the slide decks that folks share are now going to be housed on our website because our weekly resource email is filling to capacity. And so we're trying to find other ways to make this information available without weighing those resource emails down. But this information is so important and we want to make sure it's easily accessible. So if you click that link, you will find all of our organizations that are presenting today. And if you scroll to the end, you will see the slides attached, and we'll upload the ones that aren't there after this. So let me hop back to my previous screen here. So I just want to thank everyone again for coming. Thank you always for all that you do. And thank our presenters for sharing important information today. These sessions happen every month. And they happen from 9:30 to 11. And if you would like to present at a future session, you can always go to that link that I put in there, and there's an opportunity to fill out a presentation form. And we are in the process of filling out our sessions or organizing our sessions for the upcoming fiscal year. We plan fiscally. So if you would like to get a presentation slot, just go ahead and submit that form and we will work our way to organizing that and scheduling your session. So, all right, without further ado, we have quite a few presenters today, but we're going to start off with Gabriella and Shanoa from the Future Generations Collaborative. Gabriella and Shanoa, are you on?
Hi, yeah, good morning.
Welcome. Thank you so much for being with us. I'll let you both take it away.
Yeah, of course. Well, I made some slides, but I don't know if I can share those or not, but if not, it's okay.
You should be able to. Is it not sharing, allowing you to share? At the bottom, the green button.
Let me try again.
And if not, I have them so I can share them too.
Yeah, it's not letting me for some reason. I think it's on my end, having issues with Zoom.
Okay, let me wait for them to load and then I will share my screen here so that you just let me know when you want to advance.
Thank you.
You bet.
But while that's going, good morning, everybody. My name is Gabriela Martinez. My pronouns are she, her, and I mentioned in the chat, and as everybody knows, I am from the Future Generations Collaborative's Early Childhood Program, Chagumanaki Slush, which means Help Me Grow in Shinnequawa. Before I go into presenting about the early childhood program, I want Shanoa to introduce herself and give some background on the FGC and Barbie's Village. Yeah, Shanoa,
Mhm.
able? Okay, you
Yeah,
can go to the
great.
next slide as well.
Lahat slachelt wa Gwalapu Nation. Good morning, good day to all of you, my friends and relatives. Shanoa Landry Seedstat Spialip Bubched. My name is Shanoa Landry. I'm she, her, I'm Pialip, and I'm the education mode lead for the Future Generations Collaborative, and I work for the Native Wellness Institute. And so the way that the FGC is our beginnings really came from the community, and it was our focus has always been on early childhood and healthy pregnancies. About 2011 or so, a study had come out indicating our rates of alcohol impacted pregnancies being disproportionately high in our community. And so that's where the FGC kind of started, was to really provide community education. And we have a really strong network of community helpers, community volunteers. We call them natural helpers, and we're guided by our community elders. And we have been a nonprofit for about 3 years, even though we've existed as a collaborative for over, what year are we in? 24? I think we're going on 13 years of being a collaborative with our partners being Native Wellness Institute, NARA Northwest, NAA Family Center, Multnomah County, Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde, Siletz as well, and now we've got Seven Waters Canoe family. You can kind of see the little I really love that graphic, by the way, of just the way that we kind of all come together. And we weren't a nonprofit before. We were just sort of a collaborative, and we'd meet regularly just to talk about what's going on in our community. One of the other things that we've been working really hard on is data justice, because what we have seen is that we might not actually have higher rates of alcohol impacted pregnancies. It's just that we are studied more frequently, and Black and brown women, or Black and brown pregnant people, are asked more frequently if they are using substances or alcohol. And so part of our goal is to really provide that data justice and make sure that we're receiving equitable access, not just to resource, but information, and we're being fairly represented in research. Yeah, it comes with there's, we could write a whole dissertation on all of the data injustices, I think, for a lot of not just Indigenous peoples, but for a lot of communities as well. So we really try to focus on using our traditions as healing modalities, and we became a 501c3 because one of our natural helpers, her name was Atwe Barbie. She was one of the original natural helpers since the get-go, and she always had this goal to support other young families with children, or families with young children, as well as providing housing and resources, because she and her partner Ken also experienced chronic houselessness. And so as you can see on the slide here, she passed away suddenly from a brain aneurysm in 2017. And so when the community kind of came together after her passing and after her memorial, and they really wanted to honor her in a good way, that's where this idea of Barbie's Village came about. So you may have read about it. We've received some media coverage, and word is kind of spreading, because people are really excited about what's happening at Barbie's Village. It's been it's been such an honor to be able to carry this vision from the community forward. And the idea is to have this tiny, tiny home village. And in order to hold land, we needed to be a 501c3 nonprofit. So that's one of the main reasons we became that. We applied for that status. So just continuing to grow our early childhood programs and working on getting our housing. The tiny homes are not built yet. We don't currently have housing, but we are steadfastly working on grants and looking for funding. And we really want to make sure that the tiny homes that we're providing for community are more less of like the shed style and more of like small homes, small self-contained homes with plumbing, electricity, and insulation. So for those of you who are not familiar with some of the tiny homes, a lot of them don't have those things. And we know that housing children, if their basic needs aren't met, that it can impact their growth and development. So that was really important, and as well as safety. So we do have a small area of land that was donated generously by the Presbytery of the Cascades, who were already doing their own anti-racism work since ironically, the same year that she passed is when they started doing their work, and they had heard about this land back movement. If you're not familiar, you can just kind of search it on Google or social media, and you'll see a lot of this movement about returning land back to like public lands back to Indigenous peoples and Indigenous hands. And so this other church was really interested in being a part of that. They had this extra land and they wanted to donate to our community. And so that is how we came to be. And we are located in between the Laurelhurst and Kearns neighborhood in Northeast Portland. That's about it. And it's open to all who are interested in seeing our facility. So I'm going to pass it back to Gabby to share about our early childhood program, which continues to grow. Thanks.
Yay, thank you, Shanoa. You can go to the next slide, please. Awesome. So our early childhood program, our existing one is called Chagumanaki Slush, and it is made up of me, myself. I'm the project director. I have the honor of serving as the project director since October of 2023. So just a little less than a year now. Alongside Kristen, Raven, and Elizabeth, who you see on screen. They make up our whole team. We make up our whole tiny little team. And so each of their roles is pretty similar in some ways, with Kristen's being a little bit more unique, where they're all doing this direct service with the families. And Kristen is doing a little bit more of that systems navigation. And so reaching out to community providers and partners and connecting them with our programming, ensuring that they are culturally congruent providers and partners that our families would be able to access fully, and if not, also assisting in training and discussions around how those partners and providers can be culturally congruent. So that's really awesome. And then you can go ahead to the next slide. So just a little bit about who we serve and what we offer. Our program, serves self-identifying Native and Indigenous families, prenatal with children up to age 7. So it's a little bit of a larger age range than most early childhood programs, who usually cut off about 5, I believe, through funding and whatnot. So our program is currently, through this year, being funded by Health Share of Oregon, and we actually just received an extension for funding through the county directly. So we'll be able to continue on with these services, as I will continue to talk about through the next fiscal year. So that's super exciting and really awesome. Our team did a lot of work, and not just our team, but the families as well, to do that advocacy and providing written and spoken testimony to ensure that this culturally specific program continues to give families, what they need and what they're wanting out of a early childhood program. So our program consists of family-led play groups, and those happen currently twice a week, Tuesday evenings and Friday, like late mornings, early afternoons. They go about 11 to 1 on Fridays. And then our team also hosts monthly caregiver support circles and offers direct one-on-one family support and child development support, as well as bringing in cultural and resource connections and that systems navigation piece I mentioned before with Kristen's role to families when they need it, where they need it. We're actually able to serve the tri-counties, so Multnomah, Clackamas, and Washington County currently. And with our extended funding, I think we're still unsure of what all that means, but the goal is to continue to provide our programming in all 3 counties. And let's see. Yep, thank you. So our program really centers community, and these our family-led play groups and workshops that we host most often at Barbies Village and then out in community as well, are what the families have told us that they are often wanting the most. So when families come into play groups, they're really welcomed as their whole selves. They're able to show up with no fear of judgment from anyone who is our program staff or like any of the other community members and families who attend, and are able to meet providers such as like WIC or NAYA Family Services attends as well some of our play groups. Just knowing that the support is there when they need it, if they need it at all, and they're able to just engage with their child, other children as well, and community members in that active play and conversation to really build up those trusting relationships within community, between themselves and their child, just in a safe and warm, inviting space. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Thank you. So one of the other big pieces of our programming is our virtual caregiver support circles, and those happen on the 3rd Wednesday of the month. So just once a month, and that can change in the future with, family wants and needs. If families are asking for those to happen more often or less often, but I don't think that would ever happen. This past month, we actually had ours in person mostly because of a schedule conflict, but also because families have been wanting to gather in person to do self-care activities. And that's what the night ended up being about. It was a caregiver wellness night that was really awesome. Families were able to come and engage in beading activities, medicine bundles, and tea making in a space where their children were also able to play with childcare provided, but being able to go back and forth, to still keep that engagement between the family there as well. And other topics that are often discussed at the virtual support circles, you can see here on the screen, are really to boost the mental and emotional wellness of the caregiver directly. And so we know that when, like, to raise healthy children, you also have to do that healing work for yourself. And so this is really our opportunity to support that healing work in the family and the caregiver of the young children. Next slide. Yeah, thank you. So these are just some photos, representing our program staff meeting families out in community. And a few of these are from Clackamas, there's the Multnomah County, and then Triscally Farms we went, which is, I think, just right on the border of, it's in Clackamas County, but right on that border. Just being able to bring families out into awesome spaces where they're able to just be and exist and explore the environment around them, and then also being able to be accessible for families in all those counties, because we know they're so big, and having to drive out all the way to maybe our location at Barbie's Village or all the way out to NEA for culture night is really a challenge for a lot of families. So we want to make sure that we're able to meet families where they're at and, bring our play groups out to them so that transportation is less of a barrier. And we're also able to help support in partnership with NEA as well with TriMet passes, gas cards, things like that to help families get to these play groups and to just engage with their children and other community members. We understand the importance of engaging community in their cultural practices. And so our program is multi-generational, intertribal. And so there's many similarities, but also many differences between each tribe, each tribal culture. And so to honor everyone who comes into our program and into our space, we are often hosting these cultural workshops that center everyone's kind of individual persona based off of our conversations at play groups, at the caregiver wellness nights. Families are able to just chat with our program staff one-on-one and say, hey, I want to do wing dressmaking or like ribbon skirts and ribbon shirts, things like that. And so when families are able to tell us that, we're able to provide that for them. And these are just some examples. So we did a hand drum making class, an elderberry syrup making workshop, as well as many ribbon skirts and ribbon shirt workshops. And then that last photo there is one of our program staff leading a baby food making session, which was just really awesome. Go ahead to the next slide. I wanted to share these photos specifically because this one on the right really shows everything that the program is about, right? So our families are engaging in, right here, they're making moccasins. And there's actually at this table here, there's 3 generations. There's a mom, a baby, and a grandma here all talking with 2 other families. Our program staff, Raven, is leading the activity, while our WIC provider, Denise, in Multnomah County, is kind of there observing and watching because she was also interested in making moccasins, but also wanted to be available for families if they needed to talk to her about signing up for WIC and things like that. And then in the background also is Kristen, our systems navigator, engaging with the family. So it's just a really awesome photo that just fully captures everything that our program is. We can go ahead to the next one. Here, a part of our playgroups as well focuses on traditional storytelling. And so that is really seen in both of these photos. The one on the left with a little engaging in puppet play for the little baby and the mama, and that was just the sweetest thing. And then on the right, older brother just reading a story to baby sister. Yeah, go ahead to the next one. And that is it. I put here ways to contact or to connect families to us. And so that can happen in many ways. We have a referral link through a Google form that I can send out and link in the chat as well. Or people can contact me directly at the email and the numbers here on the slide. And then just wanted to share our upcoming playgroups and events that we are having. So through the rest of the month, tonight actually we have a playgroup from 4:30 to 6:30 at Barbie's Village. And then on Friday, our team will be at Nea Family Center's. They were calling it a health fair, but I think now it's like a family field day. And that I believe is from 11 to 4, but our program staff will be there from about 11 to 1. And then next week as well, there's some awesome play groups that families are welcome to attend. With, they can just show up. Giving a little heads up is nice so we can make sure there's enough supplies and food for everybody, but there usually always is. And so families don't necessarily have to RSVP. If, they just want to drop in and meet people or just see what it's all about. And yeah, that's it. That's us. Shanoa, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, just big thank you for allowing us to present, and also shameless plug for volunteers. We're always we're very grateful to the land that we have, and there's a lot of repair that needs to be done, and we're rematriating a lot of the land. So we have a series of yard work days. So if you're the kind of person that likes to get your self-care by getting your hands in the dirt or using clippers, it's also a really cool way to do that. June 6th, it's a Thursday from 9 to 4 or 5-ish, or till whenever our space is almost always open for any if anyone wants to come and volunteer or just wants to come and visit. My email is just my name, Shanoa, at nativewellness.com, and then Gabby's email is above as well. You can see on the PowerPoint. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you both so much, Noah and Gabriella. We appreciate you both spending time with us this morning and teaching us about your program. And I definitely include these in our weekly resource email. So I will add those there as well. So be on the lookout for that. And if both of you wouldn't mind, just if you haven't yet, I can't see the chat, but if you wouldn't mind adding your name and emails to the chat so folks can connect with you. And Gabby, if you wouldn't mind also adding that referral link, that would be really helpful. Perfect. And Chris, did it look like you have a question?
No, I'm having connectivity problems.
Okay, no problem. No problem. I did see a little there was some lagging, so we might be having a little bit of that this morning. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you both so much. I appreciate it. And I am going to get back to my screen here to present or to introduce our next presenters. And here we go. Okay. Do we have Tandy and Annalisa from Mount Hood Community College Early Head Start with us? No, not Hood Community College. Okay, well, we will move along to the next one. And if they do hop on, we'll do another call out before at the very end to see if they're maybe just running a little late today. So the next one we have is Path Home, formerly Portland Homeless Family Solutions, I think is what it is. Is that correct? And Samantha is here to share on that organization. So thank you so much, Samantha, for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna try to share my screen here. Okay. So I'm Samantha, the Community Engagement Director at Path Home. I've been employed there for about a year, but I was a volunteer there for 8 years prior to working there. Our mission at Path Home is to empower families with children to get back into housing and stay there. Our roots go back to 1994 when the First United Methodist Church founded the Goose Hollow Family Shelter. And that was founded in response to families with children who were found sleeping downtown and in Forest Park. We were volunteer run, completely volunteer run. We had mostly volunteers and just a couple of employees for the winter months. And we could serve 8 families at a time. I think we served about 60 families total during that time. Today, we serve over 560 families every year, helping them move from crisis to stability. All of our services use evidence-based practices that center the family as the experts in their own lives and focus on building dignity, restoring power, and promoting autonomy for all of the families that we serve. We tailor our services to each family. Progressive engagement is the idea that no 2 families are the same, and so no 2 families need the same services. So every family that comes through Path Home receives customized services to meet their needs. Our services include a housing first approach, and that prioritizes providing permanent housing to people experiencing homelessness as the first step. Doing so provides a stable foundation so that they can pursue other goals that improve their quality of life. We totally recognize that providing a roof over someone's head is the literal first step in addressing personal challenges and life goals. So we want to make sure that we're really delivering on that. Let's see, there we go. So like I mentioned, we serve about 560 families every year. That's approximately 2,000 kids and parents through 5 different programs. So we have our outreach program, which is specifically for families that are sleeping outside in tents or cars. We help get them connected to mainstream shelter and housing resources. We have our rapid rehousing program. So families get help moving from homelessness back into permanent housing. We provide a period of rent assistance and then long-term case management to help families keep their housing, which is the difference between us and a lot of other programs. 87% of families keep their housing for good. So the case management services focus on helping families identify goals, increase their income, learn new skills, manage mental health, connect to services, and build trusting and long-lasting relationships in their lives so that they can always turn back to us and ask for support when they need it. Our prevention program is for families who are about to lose their housing as a result of an eviction. They can get help keeping their housing, and then they never have to experience homelessness in the first place. Most often, this is happening because families are experiencing some kind of financial emergency. Most often, that's a medical emergency that comes up, and then they get put behind on their rent and utility payments. So we are able to provide rapid financial assistance to help families avoid eviction. And then we also provide 4 to 6 months of case management focused on budgeting, financial literacy, and then service navigation. So helping people get access to services that they might qualify for. The homeless prevention program prevents the crisis and trauma associated with a family losing their home. And it's also the most cost-effective program that we run at Path Home. It's completely privately funded. So we get grants and private donations to fund this. The average investment for families for prevention is about $2,500 per family. The average investment if a family has to come into shelter is about $9,000. So prevention is not only less traumatizing for the family, but it also makes the most financial sense. Another privately funded program is our cash transfer program. This is our most upstream program. It's our economic empowerment program. So we're addressing poverty on a deeper level. We found that worldwide research shows that the most effective way to end poverty is to give people money and allow them to manage their own budgets. So families that are in our cash transfer program receive $570 each month for 2 years. And this is to increase the goal of housing stability, and this guaranteed income allows families to decrease their financial insecurity, reduce debt, spend more time with their family, and increases overall wellness and joy. We're about to kick off our second round of this program. So we just wrapped up our first pilot program of this, where we serve 6 families. And in this next batch of program, we are able to serve 25 families because we were so successful in our last one. So we were able to get some more funding for that. Our most well-known program is our Family Village Shelter. This shelter is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Up to 17 families have a safe, warm place to sleep with all of the comforts from home. So they have a private sleeping space, they have food, they have showers and laundry. Family Village is the first shelter in Oregon incorporating trauma-informed design and architecture. So the design of our shelter provides opportunities for playing and healing and rebuilding after experiencing homelessness. And then we also combine that with a wide range of support to move families back into housing and stability. Family Village is also where most volunteering happens. So we also, excitedly, we had this vision, and now we're located in the Lentz neighborhood on 92nd, right off of Foster and Woodstock. So it used to be an old church, but we have renovated that. And we have a vision for the future. Our next vision is to provide a one-stop shop for families who are experiencing homelessness and housing instability. So we want to make sure they have the tools and resources and relationships that they need to truly end poverty and move from surviving into thriving. So in the coming years, we're hoping to add additional services to our campus. So approximately 50 units of permanently affordable housing and wraparound services. And some of those things that we're hoping to include that we notice a lot of our families are looking for is domestic violence advocacy, mental health and substance abuse counseling, employment and job readiness programs, and childcare. So hopefully in the coming months, we'll have all those. So I just wanted to highlight, it takes a village. So we try to make sure that in reflection to those that we serve, that our team also is reflective of the people that we're serving. So more than half of our staff, about 50% of them have lived experience of homelessness. 55% of our staff identify as BIPOC. 48% identify as LGBTQIA2S+, and 27% have a disability. So we're really trying to make sure that we're reflecting that we're serving. So Path Home families, the families that we work with define what family means to them. So the only requirement is that they must have a child under 18 in their care to access our services. This could mean we have single parents, 2 parents, same-sex parents, multi-generational families, and we even have families that have pets. So sometimes around Family Village, you'll see some dogs are running around. I think we have one in shelter right now with us, but a majority of the parents in the shelter are employed. Over half of the people that we're serving are children. So a lot of the time school-age children attend the schools that they were already enrolled in. They can attend a community transitional school, or they can enroll in a nearby school by Path Home. We work closely with all of the homeless liaisons who work with the students within their schools who don't have a permanent residence. So Path Home families are everyday people, and more often than not, we share more similarities than differences. So we provide a culture where we're all working together to build community and figure out life's ups and downs together. So we're really trying to strive to avoid any feelings of power dynamics in our relationships. So I believe that our stories are best told from the perspective of the families we serve. So this is just a short video about Tanisha's story. I hope that you can hear it. Let's see.
My name is Tanisha Lewis. We are a family of 6. I have 4 children. My oldest is Malachi. He's almost 16. I have a middle, which is Jordan. He's 14. And I have a set of twins. They are 10. We, as a family, struggled a lot the last year. It's crazy how just one little Lego gets moved and the whole thing just came crashing down.
Path Home's work is important to me because I also grew up with housing instability, so it's something that hits very close to home for me. So it's a good feeling to be able to help families now that I'm older, and I've been working as a social worker for about 6 years. It's nice to be able to help people that were in the same situation that I was in growing up and be able to pay it forward. I think that it helps families a lot to be able to have somebody to call. A lot of the families that I work with don't really have a lot of people that they can reach out to in the area.
Path Home was amazing. Path Home truly saved me and my family. I had lost my job and just dealt with a lot of stuff. Living with family, not wanting to live with family, wanting to be on my own, you know, be a strong mom for her kids and show her that you never give up. You never give up. Giving up is not an option. So doing all the things that I needed to do and ended up here, truly blessed. Path Home's work is important to me because they really truly take the time to get to know you and to make you feel like this is your home. If you need anything, literally all you have to do is ask. We got to decompress and be able to take a deep breath and not worry about things and knowing that things are going to get taken care of. When we moved into our place, it was a great feeling. A great feeling to have our own room and all of our stuff out of storage that I hadn't seen in a year. That was the best part. I felt like it was Christmas all over again, just because I haven't seen any of our stuff. My kids grew out of all their clothes, you know, little things like that. But it was great to actually have a home and call it our home again. Working with Nico was amazing because he's really about his stuff. He didn't come in like, oh, well, this is what you need to do. You know, he got to know who we were. And that's what made it feel really awesome, that he wasn't just doing his job, but he was going above and beyond that, making us feel welcome and that he was, you know, had our back, and that if we needed anything, that all we had to do was ask.
Working with Tanisha was great because she was very good at advocating for her family, letting me know anything that they needed to move the process forward, and they were very eager to get the process moving as quickly as possible.
I actually just got a job and I'm going to be making really good money. So I'm super excited. Things are really moving on up.
What I hope for her family is for them to be able to stay in housing. They've already accomplished a huge goal of securing employment.
We went through a lot, and Path Home definitely helped with all of that. I just wanted to get the resources and the help that we needed to get where we are today.
There we go. So that just gives you a little insight into our families and who we're serving. I'll go through the next slides a little faster. I know I'm taking a little bit of time. So accessing services. So all families with children under 18 who are currently experiencing homelessness or at risk of homelessness in the Portland metro area are eligible for our services. So families get into Path Home programs, the shelter and rapid rehousing programs. Families are calling 211, which is our county-wide coordinated entry point to the homeless family system. On that call, families are given a vulnerability assessment to determine their level of need. Based on needs, families are placed on the waitlist for shelter, rapid rehousing, or perhaps both. Once there's an opening in shelter or rapid rehousing, families are contacted and invited to participate in services. Our homeless prevention program, they call Path Home directly. They work with the prevention specialist directly. So at the beginning of the month, our prevention program has dedicated resources to help families stay in their housing and to avoid experiencing homelessness. So families can either look on our website or they can call in to the main phone line at Path Home. Families can stay at Family Village, which is the shelter, for up to 4 months. The average shelter stay is about 114 days. Families can return to Family Village for a second or third time if they need us. Once a family has received services from Path Home, they are part of our Path Home Village. We form long-lasting, trusting relationships with families so they know that we're a resource if they ever need us again. So 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, 10 years down the road, we are still there and wanting to help. I had mentioned we use trauma-informed design and architecture. Trauma-informed care is built into our physical surroundings. Family Village was designed using trauma-informed design and architecture. It's an intentional space that's healing and soothing when you're experiencing trauma. So that top picture up there on the right is of our main living space. So families have access to that when living in shelter. And then the bottom space is one of our studio rooms. So they're using all of the spaces have curved rounded edges and circular shapes to evoke and uplift joy. So thinking like bubbles, balloons, and balls from like childhood. There's access to natural light, bringing the outdoors inside. You wouldn't know it, but that space that's in that bottom right picture is actually in the basement of the church. And we were very intentional about making sure you could have that natural light inside, so it did not feel like a basement at all. We use natural materials and woods. We use colors that remind you of nature. So we chose to go with that more ocean themed colors. The spaces are spacious and flexible. Even our outdoor grounds are designed with trauma-informed design in mind. The picket fence looks like popsicle sticks. There's gathering spaces. All of our walkways are curved. We have a garden and lots of native and edible plants. Trauma-informed design and architecture is an outward expression of our internal values and approach to how we work with our families. So spaces designed with trauma in mind lead to better outcomes for the people who live in shelter. Study shows that there are shorter shelter stays and more success moving into housing. And like I mentioned, this is the first shelter of its kind in Oregon and one of the few in the country that use this design and architecture. So it's definitely up and coming, though. I hear a lot of people talk about it. So I'll just quickly go over this. We have volunteer opportunities because I will do a shameless plug for volunteers too. We always need volunteers. We are blessed to have a huge amount of volunteers that come through, but we are always looking for more people to help. So we have meal providers for brunch, sack lunches, and dinners. That's typically on the weekends when we don't have our Family Village chef there. We have kitchen helper Monday through Friday to kind of help prep and make and prepare the food with our chef that is there. We have our kids club shifts, and then we have our helping hand shifts, which is kind of like a person that wants to do it all or will fill in wherever we need them to. And then we have these two opportunities that are really good for individual and group volunteers. They don't require that you're a registered volunteer, so you can bring your family, a corporate team, or a group to help. So those two opportunities are grounds crew opportunities, so helping beautify our space, which you can see in that picture there. We have some volunteers outside at our garden space. And our turnover team. So this helps prepare a unit for new incoming families because we do have in the downstairs, it's those studio rooms, but we also run 8 apartment units that are run as shelter as well. So those need a little more help there. So last thing is other ways to be involved. So we have quarterly solution salons. This gives you an opportunity to learn more about what we're doing and how you can get involved. We have our family reunion fundraiser, which is our major fundraiser for the year. This is a fun event where guests play games, learn about our programs, and support our mission. Our Holiday Village event occurs in December and is for all current families as well as any families who participated in programs during the year. So donors are able to adopt a family to shop for or host a supply drive to stock our supply closet or provide extra toys. This makes it special because it allows for the gifts to come directly from the parents. There are also many volunteer opportunities for collecting, sorting, organizing, and helping at the party itself. And then in-kind donations, we also accept in-kind donations to keep our supplies stocked. So new toiletries, cold and flu medicine, diapers, wipes. You can host a drive or pick up a few extra things while you're shopping. Every donation is appreciated, doesn't matter what size it is. And last, social media and signing up for a newsletter. So follow and like us on Facebook or on Instagram. This is another avenue where we communicate updates and needs and a great way to stay connected. And then our newsletter is a monthly newsletter where you can stay up to date on everything that we're doing at Path Home. So that's all I have. Thanks so much. And I'm happy to answer any questions. And I'd love, if you're wanting to come and see this space, I would love to give you a tour. So just contact me and we can arrange that.
Wow, thank you so much, Samantha. I have toured the space previously and it is gorgeous. You all have done a great job with intentionality and love and just setting the space up to be person-centered. It's just beautiful. So well done. In that video, that was impactful. So beautiful.
Thank you.
And then Samantha, if you wouldn't mind just putting your email in the chat. I know that there are folks that have to jump off, so I just want to make sure they have that. And just so you know, if you do have to jump off, that is okay. Absolutely okay. And I will follow up with the link for all the information afterwards, or the email with all the information. So there is a question. How long is the waiting list for the family shelter right now?
For the shelter, I think there is about 400 people on the waiting list through 211. And for housing, I think it's 800 families on the wait list. That number is changing. And so, but I think it hovers right around those marks typically. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Thanks so much for sharing. All right, next up, we have Tony with Rose City Self-Defense, which is a ski program through Portland Parks and Rec, correct? Is that correct?
Close. We're through, I'll get to that in just a sec, to be honest.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. All right. Thank you so much, Tony, for being here.
And can everybody see the screen now?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, so hi, welcome everyone. So I'm Tony Fujiwara. I'm the youth coordinator with Rose City Self-Defense, and we have existed through the city of Portland. We're under the Community Safety Division, which is, you know, the city has like 18 different tiers that you could fall under. But so under the Community Safety Division, last year we moved under the Office of Violence Prevention. And so Office of Violence Prevention, just quickly, they focus on reduction of gun violence in Portland. They do a lot of pro-social activities and street level outreach, violence interrupters, credible people that intervene. And so under the Office of Violence Prevention sits the Safe Blocks program, and they are a community-based organization, like community building, grassroots. So they're out there doing place-based work, building, you know, activating parks and spaces that might be high crime. And then they also do crime prevention through environmental design. And then under us, that's where we sit. So Rose City Self-Defense now sits under that. We offer, and I'll get into this, but real quickly, community-based self-defense classes for women, non-binary, and the LGBTQ community. We do after school and summer programming for youth and private and personal safety workshops. So let's get into it real fast. All right, so you might have heard of us as Women's Strength. And so we've been with the city of Portland since 1979, providing what we consider empowerment-based self-defense classes. So the difference being, we're not going to come in with big guy in scary suit. You're going to learn physical strikes and escapes and how to get out of a lot of situations, how to defend yourself. But we're also going to really focus on the things that you can do to keep you safe up to that point. So I'll get into that a little bit more, but we were Women's Strength in 79. We sat under the Portland Police. It was a great relationship for a while, but eventually we added a bunch more programs. In 2008, we added Girls Strength. In 2012, we added Boys Strength. But in July of 2022, we are primarily run by volunteers. So we have 2 full-time employees, myself and Sarah Johnson, who has been with the program for 18 years. And then we have about 40 or 50 volunteers who go out and teach these courses throughout the community. As our volunteers are out in the community, they were hearing feedback that maybe the Portland Police wasn't the safest place for people to feel that they could go and get these self-defense courses if we're specifically trying to focus on the marginalized communities of the queer communities, Black and Brown, sex workers, houseless folks. They were saying PPB isn't where we want to be. So our volunteers advocated, they went to council, and they got us moved out of Portland Police under the Community Safety Division. Everybody was happy with that. Police was happy, we were happy. And so the Strengths program, because it was so gender specific as Women's Strength, Girls Strength, and Boys Strength, we renamed ourselves Rose City Self-Defense to be more inclusive. And now we work with the Safe Blocks program. So then during COVID, we did a whole lot of work to go back and re-update the curriculum, especially making sure that we are targeting things about domestic violence, healthy relationships, signs of abusive versus unhealthy versus healthy relationships, consent, digital things that can happen digitally, And so we wanted to really update and make sure that our curriculum really was hitting the most vulnerable members of the Portland community. Since its inception, we have taught roughly 45,000 women and girls in our free classes, and then safety workshops to over 110,000 people. So that's who we used to be. So some of you have heard of Women's Strength. We are the same exact program. We're just now called Rose City Self-Defense. So again, let's go back into the idea of empowerment-based self-defense, not fear-based. So we're going to start off by reconnecting you with your intuition and really talking about how our intuition is our first line of defense, but then how bias can affect that. And so we really want to do some work to unpack our bias, past traumas, what media is telling us, so that we know that we can truly trust our intuition when our safety is at risk. We're going to talk about assertive communication and how to set boundaries, how to, be more situationally aware, how to de-escalate situations. And then when you get to the point of needing to get out of there, what are our escape options? We talk a lot about affirmations and positive self-talk, again, healthy relationships, how confidence and just that internal assertiveness can help keep us safe. We talk about creating safety plans with whether it's with your family, at your work, with your friends, and then what consent looks like, and not just loving, love romantic relationships, but with children and parents and teachers and all forms of relationships, and then the physical strikes and blocks and escapes that we can use to keep us safe if the time comes. We've given everybody the option. We're trying to keep safe, and sometimes people need to find out. And so that's what we kind of consider our holistic approach, in that, yes, fighting is something that we have to be able to do if we need to, but it is our last resort, and we have so many options to choose from if faced with the threat of violence. So we just want to make sure we have those options, and we really lean on your experiences as well. So one of the things we really try to do is, like, your instincts have kept you safe. So what are the things that you've been doing that we can share, and realize that there isn't just one answer to safety. It isn't just poke somebody's eye, scratch their eyes or punch them, that we can actually do a lot of things ahead of time to keep us safe. So the programming we offer, again, I want to emphasize that this is free thanks to the city of Portland, and it has been since 1979. We were up for budget cuts in this last budget cycle, but we are amazing volunteers, went to all the commissioners, mayor, and fought to keep our budgeting, because we're the only program in the city of Portland that actually does things to address domestic violence and give survivors tools and resources to empower them. So our community classes, these are open to anyone 13 and up. We traditionally, since 79, we have said that we are open to cis and trans women and non-binary people comfortable in spaces that center on the experiences of women. So those are our free community-based classes. They're for ages 13 and up. If you're between 13 and 16, we just want you to have an adult with you, a woman identifying an adult. All of our community classes stay the same as they have been since 79, which is femme identifying. So we try to keep it in the more femme space, but don't worry, we have other classes. This is just kind of protecting that space. Once you've taken an introductory class, you can then take the intermediate class, and this is just going to build on more skills, more intense situations. And then we also have a defense against weapons class. So we teach you how to defend yourself if people are brandishing a weapon. And then we are in the process of really just finishing this up. We had a working group. We've been doing surveys with the community, Pride Northwest, the Q Center, Oregon Pride in Business, and trying to get feedback on what the LGBTQIA2S+ community really needs specifically in their safety concerns. So we're not just taking our introductory curriculum and applying it, but actually really making sure it's focused on queer specific safety concerns. And that should be launched here in about July, August, September. It's a volunteer working group, and they've been really working on making sure they hammer it out. So we don't want to launch it too soon, but it should be coming out in the next couple months. And so these are the free classes that anyone 13 and up who is female identifying or non-binary comfortable in a women-centered space. And then our youth classes are fairly similar. They're a little shorter because the adult classes are 9 hours. We break them up over 3 3-hour sessions. So like Tuesday night, or a Saturday, throughout the whole city. So we try to make sure these workshops hit all parts of Portland. So right now we have one at off of North Mississippi, and then one at East Portland Community Center. Last month we were at Middleman Jewish Community Center and the Friendly House. So we just try to make sure we were at Coley a couple months ago, that we're hitting that these opportunities are everywhere, so you don't have to drive across the city to get to them. You just might have to be patient and wait a couple months for them to get to you. So same thing with the youth classes. We do 2 hours because youth, it's just a little less. So those are 2-day classes. They're 2 hours. The one that we have coming up in June will be at the Q Center. And then we're also doing summer camps. So those are for youth. Again, these are ages 11 to 14. And these are going to be 4 days, Monday through Thursday from 9 to noon kind of thing. So all of these classes and camps are free. If anything sounds interesting and you'd like to take a class, reach out. We also do private offerings. So if you have a group of 6 or more folks, a lot of these, like I just did a moms and daughters group. I just did a parent group. I just did the Girl Scouts and PSU softball. We're doing the au pairs. I mean, literally, you just get a group of 6 or more together and we will come to you. So we ask for kind of a public-ish space. So a conference room, a community center, a school cafeteria, a church, and we'll come and bring the workshop to you. So our base one is the 90-minute personal safety workshop. And this will have everything but the physical skills. So you're going to learn about your intuition, how bias affects it, set boundaries, be assertive, de-escalate, and our escape options. So then we add 30 minutes and make it a 2-hour one. So you get everything above plus the 30 minutes of physical strikes and escapes. And then we have another one that's a little different. It's a 3-hour de-escalation workshop. So again, the 90-minute personal safety, but then we're going to add another 90 minutes of real practice on situations that are specific to your organization that you'll come at us with. We'll ask you for some what-if scenarios, and then we'll create de-escalation scenarios where you practice getting that awkwardness out and really learning how to internally be assertive in a space that's safe, so that your muscle memories and your brain start creating those connections so that you can do it when the time comes in a calm setting. So those are our community offerings for youth. We also do these 2-hour youth personal safety and self-defense workshops, which are pretty much, the same thing that you're seeing on the community. We just scale it for youth. And then we also do after-school programming. So I'm at Centennial Middle School, Floyd Light, Ron Russell, George Middle School, Mount Tabor, Harrison Park, Whitman Elementary. So throughout the year, I'll do a 9-week program after school with usually it's the sun programs. But again, these workshops are all free. So I'm getting ready to go do Multnomah County's WIC program. We did Portland Park's workers, all the people that are out in the community. And so if you have any safety concerns, if you work within your business and you hey, we would love to get this for our employees or our participants, let's say, Path Home would be a great example of we would love to come and bring you a safety and self-defense workshop for your folks that are getting, empower them as they get into their homes to feel safe in their communities. Yeah. And so if you just have any questions, please reach out to us for trainings or outreach opportunities. The city of Portland, we pay tax dollars, we live within the city, and it's important to know what resources are provided to you for free. And this is one of those very few, I think, value-added services that you can walk away with tools and a real sense of dang, I have actual talent. I mean, I know what to do. I can do this. And where I thought the movie said I'm done and they've shoved me down or they're strangling me, I actually can get out and I know how to do it because we practiced it and we can do these things. And it really empowers communities to take back their space and know they have a right to that space. So, and then I'm just looking in the comments and somebody asked if our volunteers or instructors speak any other languages than English. We have Spanish speakers and we have Vietnamese speakers. And so we also, because we're through the city and we're very ADA compliant, we can bring in interpreters at no cost to the participants. So you just have to let us know. Sexual harassment and assault. So we talk a lot about boundary setting and how to interrupt the cycles of folks in workplace that experience those kind of harassments. Specifically for older classes and people with disabilities, yes, we actually specify in our website that we can tailor to any affinity group, but we also modify our physical skills for those with mobility devices, those who are more, issues with physical skills. And so we do a lot of adaptations for those with disabilities or older adults. I just did one for the senior residents at one of the housing places downtown. Yep, Girl Scouts group. I do lots of Girl Scouts groups. It seems to be such a great team bonding and empowering thing for these girls to be doing. And your community health workers, this is the exact type of training. If people are out in the community a lot and just want confidence in de-escalating or just more tools so that when they're interacting with the public, they can remember, and I always talk about, it's like tools that you can put in your back pocket so that when the time comes, your intuition is really going to drive which decision you go with. But ultimately, if we can give you practice and create those neuron connections, you'll know what to do and have more options when the time comes.
I love this, Tony.
Yeah.
I love this. I love finding out about, I didn't know about you until recently, and finding out not only about amazing program that you and Sarah are offering, but also that it's free. It's just
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that blows me.
so important. And how, I mean, I've paid for programs like this for my daughter and myself to attend, and just to know that these opportunities are out there for community for free, and such well-developed opportunities. You can tell it's super thoughtful and well-intentioned.
So thoughtful. I mean, our volunteers go through quite an intense training before they're allowed to teach, that teaches them what trauma-informed care looks like, teaches them, what just that a lot of folks come with trauma to these workshops and they don't even know they have. A lot of times they come in and we do a pre-survey and ask them if they are survivors of domestic violence. And, we'll get like 20% that say yes. And then by the end of the class, 9 hours later, that number bumps up to 50 or 60% because they're looking at, things and say, oh my gosh, I have been in unhealthy and abusive relationships. It's just nobody told me. So if you are interested in getting us as the community-based ones, you just go to our website. It's literally just search up Rose City Self-Defense because it's the city of Portland, and it'll be like portland.gov/CSD/da-da-da-da-da. But if you just search up Rose City Self-Defense, it'll be the first thing you search up. It gives our calendar of classes through September, July, September. We're probably going to add a few more to it. Summertime, we definitely slow down a little bit just because our volunteers are off summering and we don't want to task them too much, but we'll start to ramp back up in the fall. And there's literally classes offered every month except for August.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Then again, if those classes don't work, we can give you a shortened version that we bring to you.
That's awesome. And the version that you bring to organizations, is that just a one time, or do you do the 3-part series that way too, or just
we usually just do them as the 1-time 2-hour workshop. It's a condensed version, which really a lot of it is we just cut out a lot of extra practice time. The 9-hour stuff gives us a lot more time, and we go into more physical skills. We won't do like ground fighting in the 2-hour workshop because we just don't have time and space for that. But we'll talk about incapacitating strikes, if somebody grabs you by the wrist, if somebody grabs you by both wrists, how to get out of those things. And it's like a shortened, condensed version of it.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. And then I always say, if this interests you, sign up, put it on the calendar too. If you see a registration date for a class that works for you, these classes fill up within about 48 hours, the public community ones. So just put the registration date on your calendar, and you have a day or so before it'll fill up, but it's definitely by 48 hours. We have a wait list, and by 72, we're generally closing the registration. So get it marked on your calendar if they are interesting.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. And it looks like Kayla, thanks for posting.
Yeah, thank you, Kayla.
Awesome. And then Tony, would you mind just putting your email in there too? I know it's on your slide deck.
Yeah.
Right. I'll have it right there for folks to.
There you go.
All right.
Awesome.
Questions for Tony before we move along? So awesome.
How do I stop sharing?
I have a quick question.
Stop sharing. Okay.
To do the so if we wanted to host a class at our location, do we email you or go through the website?
Just email me. Yep. And
cool.
I'm really pretty quick to respond. I don't work on Fridays. But I'll get something set up. We are set up. If you can do them during the day, so just for everybody, we're about a month out in getting stuff on the calendar. If you want an evening or a weekend, we're looking to July at this point, just because weekends and evenings are a little harder to book around the community classes that we already have.
That is awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Exciting.
All right. Thank you so much, Tony. Love that. Yeah, I learned so much from all of you. I just super value that. So thanks so much for spending time with us this morning. Okay, so next up we have Jessica Nugent from Neighborhood House. I didn't see Jessica on. I want to make sure. Jessica, are you with us today? Okay. And then do we have Paige Walker from the Girl Scouts? Going once, going twice. Paige Walker. Okay. Well, we had a few that weren't, I guess, able to attend today. And I did get a message that the Multnomah, that Head Start program did cancel, and somehow I missed that message. So my apologies for missing that. I'm trying to stay on top of it. Sometimes I do miss it. So I do actually have one more thing to share before we wrap up today, and I want to give folks an opportunity to share any upcoming events as well. But has anyone heard of the Common app? Multnomah County Common app. So they just rolled out last week, and I'm going to share the website that describes it here shortly. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because I came across it last week, and my mouth just dropped, because it's essentially a singular place, and I'm trying to find the exact, here it is. Let me get to it. Sorry, I'm trying to find the link that I had on it. So it's a singular place to sign up for bill discount programs like PGE, Northwest Natural, the Water Bureau. And here is the sign in link. Let's see, does anyone say that they've heard about it? Oops. Okay, so there is the link, and it just launched last week. And so I found it actually in a resource that was sent my way, and I'm trying to find the actual Multnomah County Common app. What's it called? The press release. So it was released last week, and it is an app, and here's the press release. So you can, if you're in Multnomah County or you're serving folks in Multnomah County, this is something you will definitely want to check out. And I have gone in to try and create kind of maybe a not so real individual to see how the process goes. Because I'm always interested to see how these systems play out. And I've also contacted the company Forward, who's launching the system, to see if I can find who are the contact folks at Multnomah County who are launching this. And I haven't been able to find that yet. I have submitted a request through the app page itself, but it was, I think, more of a chat person, a chat bot that returned my response. So I am looking for a heartbeat behind this program. So if anyone comes up with that connection, if you would be so kind as to pass that along to me if you're interested and open to that. But this could be a big game changer, I think, for the folks we serve. And because it allows for singular sign-on for all of these different programs in accessing the bill discount, WIC, TANF, store to door, Meals on Wheels, and it's a singular sign-on service. So more to come on that, but I wanted to just highlight it because it's new, and I'm sure there's hiccups as with all rollouts. So we want to make sure we're patient with that. But I also think that having someone on to share the process, how it came to be, and how to kind of work best with the system, it's something I'd like to see adding. We're looking at adding sign-on opportunities at our events. So having kind of a computer lab where folks could get registered to this app, and then to all of the amazing services available on the app. So more to come on that, but I wanted to highlight that for everyone. And I wish I had more information to give on it, but I wasn't able to find that yet. So, okay, so let's see. We don't have any other presenters today, but I just want to thank all of our amazing presenters, Gabby, Shanoa, Samantha, and Tony, for sharing such important information today, and all really in different aspects of the people we serve, but all super important and invaluable programs. So thank you so much for that. And then also, does anyone have any upcoming information that they would like to share? Any upcoming events or requests, need requests? Now would be the time. I can open it up for that. know I kind of just put everyone on the spot.
Hi, good morning. This is Michelle with Southeast Works. I just wanted to announce that we will not be continuing with our driving diversity courses until later on in the next fiscal year when funding has improved and we've been able to close the funding gap. So if any of you guys have customers out there that were on the wait list, there will be a coach reaching out to them to let them know what other options we have for CDLB training. We still have training opportunities on our ETPL, which is our eligible training provider list for customers, and some scholarship funding. We just won't be continuing with the driving diversity cohort. This cohort will be our last run until potentially mid-fiscal year next year. So I just wanted to put that out there. I know that we've got about 65 applicants that are in the waiting list for the next cohort when it launches, and we'll be reaching out. But if you have further questions, feel free to reach out.
Thank you, Michelle, so much. Anyone else have any updates to share? Okay. Well, just FYI, we are in the process of planning for our next fiscal year for fairs as well. And we are kind of looking at our fair model to see about bringing some of our smaller events together so that we're offering even kind of bigger or more encompassing events of kind of specific service areas. So if you're interested in hosting a fair or co-hosting a fair, please let us know. We would be happy to kind of entertain that conversation and see what we can do. And I'm just going to pop my email in the chat. Most of you should have it and know how to get a hold of me, but just in case, it is right here. And let's see, it looks like, okay, intercultural civic leaders. Okay, great, awesome. So we'll add that to the weekly resource email. Yeah, awesome, thank you. Okay, one more chance. Anyone else have anything to share? Okay, awesome. Well, you'll have a few minutes back to your day. Thank you so much. Super appreciate all of you and the work that you do and the amazing presenters we had today. And I hope that you have a great rest of your Tuesday. All right. Thanks again for all you do. Bye.